Vajrapani, Aravadukatishvara, Aradhara, and all the enlightened beings, Aranigarjuna, Arideva, Buddhapalita, and the author of the text, which we are resuming from this class on, Acharya Chandrakirti, and Bodhisattva Shanrakshita, Bodhisattva Shantideva, and Adishadipamara Shri Jnana, and all the enlightened beings. And how you visualize them. They're like a very affectionate parents, and imagine you come home demoralized, and your parents are waiting there to give full love, affection, attention, so forth. And if you Bodhicitta field, visualize your two grandparents, one or two sides, and all your family members, and everyone here in Delhi, everyone in India, in the world, in the universe, in the entire universe, the beings, human beings, the spirits, the celestial beings, hell beings, hungry ghost beings, animals, insects, all beings. And here, you are the mother, and all others are like your children. Imagine, they come home demoralized, and you are there to give full love, affection, attention, so forth, to the extent that each one of them feels themselves as so special in your eyes. And the purpose of this practice, the purpose of this class, is to discover the ultimate treasure of happiness that exists within each one of us, which is also known as the Tathagata Garbha, or the Buddha nature, Sankhya. And this, like a gold, when mixed with the soil, the gold is not seen. It does not glow. As the soil is gotten rid of, separated from the gold, then the gold slowly starts to shine and glow. Likewise, by some means, if you are to activate, if you are to eliminate the mental defilements, then if we are to eradicate the mental defilements, then the Buddha nature inside will slowly start to glow and shine. And how to eradicate the mental defilements in order to make this Buddha nature, the Tathagata Garbha, to shine, and that your ultimate source of happiness becomes unraveled. So for that matter, we need to identify the mental defilements. Only then we'll know what remedies to apply. And the mental defilements are of two kinds, the gross and the subtle. The gross one also known as the afflictive obscurations, and the subtle one known as the cognitive obscurations. And the afflictive obscurations, the presence which stops us from achieving freedom from suffering, and the cognitive obscuration, which stops us from achieving total enlightenment or full awakening of the Buddha nature within us. And this mental defilement, the two defilements, somehow they are rooted to the self-grasping ignorance and the subtle stains of the self-grasping ignorance, subtle stains. Because that the stains are somehow either directly connected with the ignorance or the subtle stains, the counter force that we can possibly introduce is the wisdom to see the reality as it is. And this wisdom must be, just as the negative forces, they are so active, so potent, so spontaneous, so intense. Likewise, the wisdom should be equally intense and spontaneous and powerful. For that matter, to acquire such intent, the intense power of the wisdom of emptiness, we need to have the non-dual wisdom of emptiness, for which we need to have the dualistic experience of the emptiness as the background, as the ground, for this non-dual wisdom of emptiness. And to gain this, the dualistic or conceptual experience, spontaneous conceptual experience of the wisdom of emptiness, we need to have the, conviction in this wisdom of emptiness. This conviction is derived through the wisdom derived through reflection. And to gain conviction in this very profound subject, we must have enough material to reflect on, and these materials you can gain only through studying or learning. So this is known as the wisdom derived through learning, intellectual learning. So this is so important. So what we're doing here is actually the learning to acquire the materials in our thought processes as to how things actually exist, how they are all existing by way of the subjectivity, by way of mental imputation, and from the objects it's all empty. Okay, so with this in mind, this being the purpose, with this in mind, and let's turn to page 3 of the Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhicittas, the text meant for study, reflection, meditation, page 3. And imagine that you are leading this, and all sentient beings, everyone is happily joining you in this journey of enlightenment, awakening the Buddha nature within us. And used by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha of Dharma, I pay homage. And used by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha of Dharma, I pay homage. And used by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha of Dharma, I pay homage. And used by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha of Dharma, I pay homage. Kange doze nirso ne tawa tamje bambe chir tambe chune dunze kodam dala chase lo. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, one on top this peace which is free of aberrations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all these hearers seeking passage in complete peace, who through the knowledge of past causes self-subduers expound a variety of teachings. Yende yewa zo nam gun je nige ni she chense kanye dang dola pembara jenam nam je nige jigden tundu tseba kanda yanda dembe lu na namba gunde na so de somba yende chanju sembe soje sanje gene yumde la cha se lo. The one who transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teachers who guard and protect her to you and your frustrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light raised to you, the Buddha, and make prostrations. Obe chawa namse jen, savje gyache kungawa, kundo sambu ezeda, kunya chona chase lo. I go for refuge and true enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha. By the accumulations of products of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by the accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by the accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanye Chona Soge Ane Gyasuji Lage Jinso Yebe Sonamye Dola Benjir Sanye Dubaraisho Sanye Chona Soge Chonam Janju Bardo Danye Gyasuji Lage Jinso Yebe Sonamye Dola Benjir Sanye Dubaraisho Sanye Chona Soge Chonam Janju Bardo Danye Gyasuji Lage Jinso Yebe Sonamye Dola Benjir Sanye Dubaraisho. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I gather the mind in full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Shravanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Madhima Shravanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Madhima Shravanaye Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata, taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-light, and non-composite. Such is the nectar-like dharma I've discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching in silence, I'll return to the words. Sabji Dede Sedu Maji, Duzeda Bucheche Gonye, Sula Shenyang Huar Menebe, Mema Nage Nasu Nebaracha. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the professional wisdom, which is unborn, unseized, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas, are the three times of the obeisance. Afam Jume Shera Parujin, Mage Meva Namge Muoni, Sosoran Re Yeshe Chuba, Dusum Geve Yumla Chasero. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of all. I go for refuge in the Guru. Lama Sanje Lama Che, Deshin Lama Gindundi, Bunde Chebo Lama Yen, Lama Namla Chaselo. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, please liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of expansive billions of aeons. Chuma Chebo Daene, Simche Dunga Bagejin, Kewa Chewa Samyas, Chuden Zejin Shusu. The Buddha doesn't work. Nor does he remove their miseries by sense. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of such things that beings are liberated. Todlam de ba chue mi trojin, troe donge chage mi sela, nige toba jena pomen, chunye denba denbe chubare yur. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all the miseries closed. Chonam Gwenge Sangye La, Temo Jade Soani, Sinje Dunge Mutomla, Chuge Jume Bardus. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, page 14, Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one beyond, the full destroyer, completely perfected, fully perfect knowledge and equal conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the complete and fully awakened one, endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When all supreme amongst humans you are born in this earth, you pace our 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, forms supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, one of the best Lord to you I prostrate. With the supreme science face like a spotless moon, color like gold to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incompatible wise one to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, if you are married with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform, subdue mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star or a visual aberration, a flammable lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream or flash of lightning. Through these merits, may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing, subdue the 4 faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by this death. Okay, sun illuminating the threefold fate. Page 19. Page 19. As we read this, the praise to the 17 Nalanda Pandits or Nalanda Masters, one that we need to keep in mind is, okay, so the one point which I'd like to share with you will come later when I go through the main class. Then the next one is each one of the masters, in what way they made contribution to this sublime teaching of the Buddha, the sole panacea, the final panacea to heal all the demon sentient beings, and what are the contributions. And each one of them, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, very clearly elucidated the qualities, the contributions, and in which school, what texts that they left as legacies for us. And then later on, see if each one of us, we can really go into more detail to study the legacies left by each of the masters. Okay, this is what we are to think of. And then on this basis, build one's own practice, to strengthen one's practice. We see that finally how rich your practices, how profound your practices, is all determined by how well exposed you are to these legacies led by the 17 Nalanda Masters. So it's so important. Okay, so what we read this is a way, the manner in which you will be exposed to their biographies, particularly biography in the form of the legacy, what legacies they left. So that is so important. Okay, and let us feel so grateful to these great masters. Imagine the land of Arya, revered as the land of Arya, India, and then in those days, like 1st century AD, 2nd century AD, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th, 8th, till like 11th century, till the time of the great master Acharya, the Adishidipagara Shri Jnana. We see that all these brilliant, the lights of the and the Dharma. They were so vibrant, and today we have His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and of course all the great teachers. But because of the barrier, the language barrier, and these teachers, the world cannot really relish the insights, the spiritual realizations, and so forth. And then the negativities, they become the victor. They become victor, and so finally, who lose is that sentient beings suffer. This is the point. So therefore, we invoke these 1700 masters. Likewise, there are thousands of such masters over there. There are 17. They actually, particularly, precisely, they left the legacies, and because of which they are counted separately as 17. Otherwise, there were so many other masters as well, like the great saint Saraha, the great saint Dilopa, great saint Naropa, all these great saints were there, and then Birvapa, all these great saints were there. So who really made an incredibly great contribution to the Buddha Dharma, to help heal the sentient beings from the misery to the happiness. So let us invoke all these enlightened beings that now let the golden era of those days once again come back on its world. So now we see that because of this tradition to bring about happiness, to bring about peace on earth, so that is like diminishing, and then the darkness is gaining hold of the world, and the world is going through such a disaster everywhere you look at, such a disaster going on. So that is invoke these are not the masters. In fact, invoke, it is a skillful way to invoke yourself. Invoke yourself. Okay, now look, I'm there, say the inheritant. I'm the inheritant of these legacies of the great Nagada masters. So I have to do something. Why I invoke them? So the real invocation must be done from within myself. So I have to learn something and see in what way I can make some contribution to the world, to the people around us. It's not a matter to convert them. This is not the point. The point is that they should get their eyes to see the reality. And on that basis, they become a happier beings. And on that basis, they create less problem around themselves. So the world, the problems will dissolve, and the world will find a better place and a better future. So this idea, with this in mind, and imagine that you are leading this, and all sentient beings, they are so happily joining you in this invocation. Okay, page 19. Born from great compassion, aspiring to help all beings, God of gods, you have attained the savior state of abandonment realization, and you guide the beings through the discourse of dependent origination. O able one, son of speech, I bow my head to you. I implore your feet, O Nagarjuna, most skilled in elucidating suchness, free of elaborations, the meaning of sutras and the mother of conquerors, through the profound reasoning of dependent origination. Middleway, the supreme vehicle. I implore you to this principle, son of Bodhisattva Arideva. Truly existent things arising so forth, you uphold commonly verified knowledge in external reality. I implore you, O Chandrakirti, who disseminate all the powers of Sudra and Tantra, you are the most skilled in teaching the profound and the vast aspects of the middle way, the union of appearance and emptiness, dispelling the two extremes, by means of dependent origination, that is mere conditionality. I implore you, O Bodhisattva Shantideva, skilled at revealing to the assembly of fortunate spiritual trainees, excellent path of compassion that is really wondrous, through a multitude of reasoning, the most profound and the vast. I implore you, O Master Prashantarakshita, who initiated the tradition of the non-dual Buddhist in accordance with the 20th mental disposition. You are versed in the reasoning modes of both middle way and logic, and you disseminate the congruous teaching in the land of snows. I implore you at your feet, O Kamalashila, you who have, having explained accidentally the stages of meditation of the middle way view, free of elaborations, and the unit of triangulated insight in accordance with the Sutra and Tantra, flawlessly elucidated congruous teaching in the land of snows. I implore you at your feet, O Asanga, you who are sustained by Maitreya, who were disseminating accidentally all Mahayana scriptures and taught the vast path, and who in accord with the congruous prophecy initiated the tradition of mind only. I implore you at your feet, O Master Vasubandhu, you who, while upholding the systems of the seven Abhidharma treatises as well as non-duality, illuminated the tenets of Vaibhashika, Sautrantika and mind only. Foremost amongst learned ones, you are renowned as the second omniscient one. I implore you at your feet, O Dignaga, the logician, who you, in order to present the Buddha's way through evidence-based reasoning, open a 100-fold gateway of the system of logic and offer it as a gift to the world the eyes of critical intelligence. I implore you at your feet, O Dharmakirti, you who are understanding all the essential points of both Buddhist and non-Buddhist epistemology, brought conviction in all the profound and advanced parts of Sautrantika and mind only by means of reasoning. You are most versed in teaching the excellent Dharma. O Arya Vimuktisena, you who lit the lamp that illuminates the meaning of the ornament treatise wherein the themes of the professional wisdom stemming from Asanga and his brother were expounded in accord with the middle way view, free of existence and non-existence. I implore you, O Master Haribhadra, who were prophesied by the conqueror expounder of the meaning of the mother, the professional wisdom, who you elucidated excellent treatise on the professional wisdom, the three mothers, in perfect accord with the instruction of the Savior Maitreya. I implore you at your feet, O Gunaprabha, most excellent both integrity and scholarship, who having excellently distilled the intent of 100,000 disciplinary teachings, expounded the individual liberation of vows, flawlessly according to the tradition of the Sarvastivada school. I implore you at your feet, O Shakyaprabha, supreme upholder of discipline, who read over the treasure of the qualities of the three trainings in order to disseminate the extraneous Vinaya teaching for a long time. You excellently expounded the meaning of the vast treatises. I implore you, O Choadisha, you having taught all the profound and the vast traditions related to the words of the Buddha within the framework of that part of the persons of three capacities, Buddha's teaching in the land of snows. Having thus entreated these most learned elements of the world, the excellent sources of wondrous and insightful teachings, may I be blessed so that my mind becomes ripened and free. Through the entreaty I made with a mind unwavering and pure. By understanding the two truths, the ontological reality, we may ascertain how, through the four truths we enter and leave samsara. I make firm the faith in the three jewels that is born of valid reason. May I be blessed so that the root of the path of liberation is firmly established within me. May I be blessed to perfect the training in renunciation and aspiration for liberation, the total pacification of suffering at its origin, as well as in an uncontrived bodhicitta that is rooted in an infinite compassion that wishes to protect all sentient beings. May I be blessed so that I may easily develop conviction in all the paths pertaining to the profound points of the perfection and Vajra vehicle, by engaging in study, reflection, and meditation on the meaning of the treatise of the great trailblazers. May I in the life of the life obtain excellent births that support the three trainings and contribute to the teaching that equals the great trailblazers, in upholding and disseminating the teaching of the scripture and realization through engaging in exposition and meditative practice. May the members of all spiritual communities spend their time in learning, reflection, and meditation, shining wrong livelihood through the proliferation of sublime masters. May the great face of the earth be beautified throughout all times. Through the power of this supplication, may I traverse all the paths of Sutra and Tantra and soon attain the state of congruous omniscience, characterized by spontaneous realization of the true purposes. May I work for the welfare of sentient beings as long as space remains. Okay, Heart Sutra Mantra, page 31. And as we recite this, wholeheartedly let us pray that you are leading this and all sentient beings, and particularly say the people who have least interest in this, the dharma, and in the process accumulate negative karmas to go through miseries even more. So let us just, with tremendous compassion, let us bring them to a visualization and give them the chance to follow this path, gate, and eventually experience their own lasting happiness through unraveling the hidden treasure, the Buddha nature that exists within each one of them. And all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're so happily watching us, they're so proudly watching us for what you're doing out of so much of compassion and love for all the sentient beings. And everyone's happily joining you. Deyata Om Gati Gati Okay, let us read the page 57, the Noble Mahana Sutra, Dependent Arising. Page 57. Page 57. Let us read this together. The Noble Mahana Sutra, Dependent Arising. Homage to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Thus did I hear at one time the Blessed One was in the realm of the gods of the 33, sitting on the throne of Indra. Together with him were great hearers such as the Ashvijit, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, such as the noble Maitreya, noble Avatara, Vajrapani, were adorned with immeasurable precious qualities, as well as various gods such as the great Brahma, Lord of the world, Narayana, the great Ishvara, Sakara, chief of the gods, the Panchasikha, king of the Gandharvas. On that occasion, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Aravadavitishvara, rose from his seat and had draped his upper robe over one shoulder on this big Mount Meru. His palms pressed together, he bowed toward the Blessed One and addressed those words to him. Blessed One, these gods all really wish to build a stupa. Now that they are present in this entourage, please teach them the Dharma in such way so that their merit of Brahma will increase and the merit of the monks, nuns, laymen, noblemen will increase much more than that of all types of beings in the world of gods, Maras, Brahma, including renunciates and Brahmins. At this, the Blessed One spoke the words of dependent arising. Blessed One referring to the Buddha. Ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum teshan tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashiramanaya swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata, the cessation of the causes as well as taught by the great seer. Avalokiteshvara, it is like this. This dependent arising is the Dharmakaya of all the Buddhas. He who sees dependent arising sees the Tathagata. Avalokiteshvara, if a faithful son or daughter of a noble family builds in a remote place a stupa the size of a gooseberry fruit with a central pillar the size of a needle and a parasol the size of a flower of the Bakuda tree, and it serves his verse of dependent arising, which is the Dharmadhatu, he or she will generate the merit of Brahma. When such persons pass on from here and die, they will be reborn in the world of Brahma. When they pass on from there and die, they will be reborn with forces equaling those of the gods of the pure abodes. After the Blessed One had spoken these words, the hearers, bodhisattvas, the whole and the universe of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas rejoice and praise this teaching. This concludes the Noble Mahayana Sutra, dependent arising. Okay. Now we'll read three principal parts. Page 73. Okay, I remember as many years ago, during His Holiness's teachings, I remember him saying that this is what His Holiness recites every day, the three principal aspects of the path. So, if you read this and as to understanding, particularly of the major treatises which we are studying, like Acharya Chandrakirti's texts, Madhyamika Avatar, and of course Aranigarjuna's Mudamanakarika, then Aramitriya's Abhisamalankara, and then Acharya Dharmakirti's Pramana Pradika. We study, the more we study these, then we see that all these, the message and the insights were all condensed in the three principal aspects of the path, and so beautifully captivated in very economic words, so beautifully done. And it's very just, how many stanzas are there? Total 14 stanzas. In 14 stanzas, you will get the whole path, Gade Gade, Parasamada Buddhism, everything so concise in these 14 stanzas. So we are very lucky to have actually to have met with this wonderful teaching, the three principal aspects of the path. Okay. Let's read this together. I bow down to the Venerable Lamas, as well as I am able, I will explain the essence of all the teachings of the Conqueror, the path praised by the Conqueror's children, entrance for those who desire liberation. Listen to the clear mind, you fortunate ones, who are not attached to the joys of secular existence. Strive to make good use of leisure and opportunity, and direct your minds to the path that pleases the Buddhas. Without pure renunciation, an end to attraction for pleasures of secular existence is unattainable. The craving for existence also binds beings. Thus from the outset seek renunciation. Reverse attraction to this life by reflecting on how leisure and opportunity are difficult to find and how life is ephemeral and without span. Reverse attraction to future lives by repeatedly thinking of the infallibility of karma and its effects and miseries of samsara. Contemplating thus, when for an instant you do not admire the splendors of secular existence and remain intent on liberation, day and night renunciation is born in you then. Renunciation, if not tempered by pure mind of bodhicitta, however, does not bring forth the perfect bliss of unsurpassed enlightenment. Therefore, the wise ones generate the excellent amount of bodhicitta, swept up in the current of the four powerful rivers, tied by the strong bonds of the karma, so hard to undo, caught in the iron net of the self-grasping, complete and enveloped by the darkness of ignorance, born and reborn in boundless self-existence, ceaselessly tormented by the three miseries. Thinking of your mothers in this condition, generate the supreme amount of bodhicitta. Although you train in renunciation and amount of bodhicitta, You cannot cut the root of cyclic existence, therefore try to understand the dependent arising. One who sees the infallible cause and effect of all phenomena in samsara and nirvana and destroys all focuses of apprehension has entered the path which pleases the Buddha. Appearances are infallible dependent arising. Emptiness is understanding that is trivial assertions. As long as these are seen as distinct, you have not yet realized the intent of the Buddha. When these two realizations are concurrent, when a mere sight of infallible dependent origination concurrently destroys all modes of grasping through definite discernment, at that time the analysis of a profound view is perfected. Furthermore, appearances refuse the extreme of existence, emptiness refutes the extreme of non-existence. When you cause and effect, you are not captivated by the view of extremes. O my child, once you have thus realized the points of the three principal paths, seek solitude and cultivate strong determination and quickly reach the final goal. Okay, 5 minutes meditation. Okay, ready? Okay. I hope you all have the root text with you. Okay. Raise your hands. Those who do not have the book, raise your hands. Okay. We are on 6th level, or the 6th Bhumi, 6th level, page 14 of the text. Okay, what I feel would be one way to resume this text, which the former abbot, Venerable Geshe Chandraju Chundela, which he started from chapter 1 through to chapter 5. Now we're doing chapter 6. So one thing which might be good for us is to get an overview of the chapters 1 through to chapter 10, the overview. And so basically the idea is that this text, the Madhyamika Avatar, this is more like, say, a commentary. Not word-to-word commentary, but say it explains it picks up the main subject matter of Mula Madhyamika Karika, that the fundamental wisdom of the middle way by Arjuna. So the Acharya Chandrakirti picked up the main important points from there, and then put it in his own words. So it is counted as a commentary. And whereas the Prasadampada, the clear words by Acharya Chandrakirti, so that is a word-to-word interpretation or commentary on Arjuna's text, Mula Madhyamika Karika. So with this in mind, what is so unique about this is, as you could recall, how this text, Madhyamika Avatar, entering into the middle way, engaging into the middle way, entering into the middle way, or supplement to the middle way. So engaging, proper would be engaging. Avatar means to engage or manifest. So it engages into Mula Madhyamika Karika. And in what way it engages into the Mula Madhyamika Karika is on the basis of 2 points. One is from the point of view of the vast subject matter, and from the point of view of the profound subject matter. So how, say, the Mula Madhyamika Karika, the fundamental wisdom of the middle way, the root wisdom, also referred to as the root wisdom in English translation, and the fundamental wisdom, same. By Arjuna, that was composed as a manual for somebody who's following the Bodhisattva path. Manual for somebody following the Bodhisattva path. And for somebody to follow the Bodhisattva path, person should necessarily engage in 2 major practices: the practice of the wisdom and the practice of the method. And the reason why that is required is that the individual person, the Mahayana practitioner, or let's not call it Mahayana practitioner for the time being. That's somebody who aspires to awaken one's Buddha nature fully, who aspires to awaken one's Buddha nature fully, so that you will manifest yourself in your true form, where you become like a sun You become like a sun. No cloud, external cloud, no external factors can affect you, number one. Number two, not only that, no external factors can affect you, the brilliance of the sun can illuminate every atom of the universe. So in other words, that you are 100% protected, safeguarded from the external factors, one. You're not affected by external factors, one. So your final benefit, the benefit for yourself, that is guaranteed. The perfection, the benefit for yourself is achieved. Plus, you are able to give them, you achieve the perfection of rendering benefit to the other sentient beings in complete form. So, the perfection in the two benefits, benefit for yourself and benefit for other sentient beings in perfection, in completion. For that matter, we see that the goal that we are seeking is to manifest the true nature of the Buddha nature in yourself in ways of two perfections. Perfection of your own benefit and perfection of the benefit of others too. And then we see that perfection for yourself, it is pertaining to the mind, your own mind. Because your mind is not something visible to other beings. So your mind decides whether you're happy, whether you're affected, whether you're in pain, whether you are ignorant, whether you are in wisdom, your mind decides. So it's like the quality of the mind. So for that matter, we see that the perfection state is known as the Buddhahood. So this Buddhahood can be classified into two categories. What are they? Dharmakaya and Rupakaya, right? So when each one of us, it's not that some Buddhas are Rupakaya, some Buddhas are Dharmakaya, no, this is not the connotation. Every single individual, when you become a Buddha, you manifest two forms. Every single individual manifests two forms. One is the manifestation in the form of Dharmakaya, and the other in the form of Rupakaya. So Dharmakaya is in the context. In fact, say Dharmakaya is for yourself and for others. Rupakaya is for yourself and for others. But the Dharmakaya is specifically for individual. To protect yourself, that you are guaranteed, that you are not affected by external factors. This is known as the perfection of your own benefit. And then the Rupakaya, Rup means physical form. So the manifestation of the external forms, physical form. So you manifest yourself, so the beings can benefit you. Beings can benefit you. So we see that when you become enlightened, we see that you assume two different aspects of perfection. One is Dharmakaya, one is Rupakaya. And the Dharmakaya and Rupakaya, both of them, they fall under the main umbrella known as Dharmakaya. Right? So there's the main umbrella known as Dharmakaya and subset Dharmakaya. These two are we should not mix up the two things. With the same label, one is the main umbrella referring to all the states of the Buddhahood, and the other the subset of that main Dharmakaya. Right? So those of you who are not too familiar with this, of course, those of you who might have missed the earlier classes, particularly we delved into this concept in great detail, I think twice, if not 3 times. Okay, so then we have to go through the details, the listening, revisiting those recordings. Now we see that these are the two things, that the two goals that we have to achieve, Dharmakaya and Rupakaya. So Dharmakaya, because that it is specifically for yourself, pertaining to your mind, this is more to do with the wisdom. The wisdom. So this wisdom, for that is the perfection wisdom. Perfection wisdom will take you, the unique feature of the perfection wisdom is to make you achieve the Dharmakaya. And the other side, Rupakaya, for that we need to have the perfection of the method. Method, also referred to as the merit accumulation, method accumulation. We should perfect that. If we perfect that, then we achieve the Rupakaya. Right? Okay, so in terms of goals, we see that there are two things, Rupakaya and Dharmakaya. Finally, our job is what? What is the meaning of life?
If somebody is telling you that I will give you everything possible, not impossible things, everything possible, and you go for that, and be wise, and choose the maximum, the best. What is the best? Two things. One, the best for yourself, and the other, best for others. If you can achieve that, this is the greatest meaning for life. So that is when you become enlightened. So for that matter, given that these are the two final goals, there should be two means to take you there. There should be two means to take you there. So what takes us to the Dharmakaya is the wisdom. And what takes us to the Rupakaya is the method or the merit. So these two will take you. Of course, the merit also contributes to take you to the Dharmakaya. It's not that it's just the Rupakaya. This is not a connotation. For example, say if with the eating food remove your hunger, and drinking water will remove your thirst. But drinking water always also helps you to remove your hunger, and eating food will also help you to remove your thirst to some extent. But the emphasis or the main purpose is different. Likewise, the two goals are there, the two means are there. Because there are two means, how to acquire these two means? For that, unless, say for example, unless there is the, for example, let's say this, for example, this flower, this is a fake flower, so this is what? A plastic. And the plastic comes from petroleum. Unless there's a raw material there, on this earth, the petroleum there, we cannot have this beautiful flower coming out. So there must be raw material there. So likewise, in order to have these two means, the wisdom and the what? And the merit, in order to have these two things, there must be raw material in samsara. There must be the raw material for these two. So for the wisdom, the raw material that we have is the ultimate truth. Ultimate truth is the raw material that exists in samsara, right? So everything, every phenomena has two truths. Ultimate truth and the conventional truth. So the ultimate truth is what? Emptiness of objective existence. So when you see the emptiness of objective existence, that triggers the refined wisdom. That triggers the wisdom. So as you meditate more on this wisdom, it will take you to Rupakaya, the Dharmakaya. And the other side is what is the opposite of the ultimate truth? Conventional truth. So seeing the conventional truth, then we see how things exist by dependently. We'll see how things exist by dependently. So dependently everything functions. So that is conventional truth. So seeing the conventional truth, then you will know how compassion can be generated. You know how the 6 perfections can be achieved. How all the virtuous qualities can be achieved. So all virtues will grow. All virtues can grow through the understanding of the conventional truth. So conventional truth allows you to gain the energy. So that energy of the mind, in simple terms, energy of the mind is known as the merit or the method side, not pertaining to anything which makes you to move. Your mind to move. May I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. What is this mind? Bodhicitta. So this bodhicitta says, may I become. Become means I want to move from the unenlightened state, samsaric state, to the Buddhahood. Compassion. May all sentient beings be free from suffering. Which means that I want to take the beings from the suffering state to the non-suffering state. So this is what makes your mind to move. So what makes you move? That is the energy. That energy is known as the merit. Whereas the wisdom does not necessarily move your mind, right? In a loose sense. Wisdom is simply to know what's the reality, and then how you act, that comes the merit. The movement is because of the merit. Okay, now with this the point is that in reality, in samsaric existence, in the reality, there are two things. There are two realities. What are they? Ultimate truth and the conventional truth. And because the reality has the two things as the substrate, so on the basis of this ultimate truth, reality of this will take you to the wisdom. And conventional truth, realizing this will take you to merit. And the more you accumulate merit, merit accumulation happens. The more you practice wisdom, the wisdom accumulation happens. And then the perfectional wisdom will take you to Dharmakaya as a final goal. And the perfectional merit will take you to Rupakaya as a final goal. So there are two realities on the basis, right? And then on the basis of these two realities, then we have the two paths, wisdom and the merit. Because the two paths, we achieve the two goals. What are they? Dharmakaya and Rupakaya. So this is how we have to structure our path. And if you really understand your dharma, the meaning of life in this context, it is such a joyful state for you. It will give you such a confidence. Okay, now wherever I go, I know what should be the final meaning of my life. Okay, so with this, then the point is that our goal, it becomes clear to our mind what our goal is. And to achieve this goal, what the two means, what the methods, what the two ways, what the two paths, accumulation method and accumulation of wisdom. And how to acquire these two paths is by realizing the two truths, conventional truth and ultimate truth. Okay, so with this, the point is now what should we be doing? Once you know this, then what should we be doing? We should think of the moving, right? After knowing, after having the blueprint of the whole structure. So, how many architects are here? Huh? Okay, one. Okay, so after the architect designed this blueprint, then what we should be doing? Then we have to start constructing the house on the basis of this blueprint. So constructing means from zero, then we start to make it happen. Likewise, in our case, once we create this blueprint of the two goals, the two paths, and the two realities, the two truths as the basis, the path, and the result. Right? With this blueprint, then what we should be doing is that we have to start walking. Gade, we have to start walking. Right? Okay. Now, to walk, to move, gade, go beyond, go utterly beyond and establish your enlightenment. To start moving, there are two or three obstacles. There are three obstacles which was very clearly indicated by Acharya Vasubandhu. Right? Three obstacles. The next question, what are the two obstacles? Okay. One obstacle says that I don't want to go to Nirvana. I don't want to go to Bodhiswaha. This is one obstacle. I don't want to go. Number two, right? Okay, I want to go. But, right? Okay, but gate, parasamudaya. This is wrong path. Right? It's a wrong path. There is, what is the opposite of gate? Pranchu? What is it? Huh? Agate? Huh? Agate, right? Oh, that is the right path. So, you choose the wrong path. This is, so say, if you want to go to Dharamsala for audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, you have to go towards north. And if you go to the south, you will never reach the place. You may say the world is round, right? And you think that, oh, it is just 500 kilometers from here. Then you run 1,000 kilometers, still you will not reach there, right? Because to take a whole round, it may be more than a few thousands. So in 500 kilometers running south, you will not reach the destined place. You getting it? Okay. So therefore, one is what? I don't want to go. This is one obstacle. Number two is, say, enlightenment, it was the north, and you want to go south. I want to go south. South is the right way to go to enlightenment. North is not the wrong path. Number two. Number three, is that, okay, gati. So in the presence of Buddha Shakyamuni, then Shariputra asked a question, then Aravaditeshvara said, gati. But I'm not too sure whether it is correct or not correct. I'm not too sure. Doubt in the correct path. Okay, one is not desiring to go. Not desiring to go to the path, achieve the goal, number one. Number two is, yes, I want to go, but the path shown by the Buddha is wrong. Then you go the opposite direction, number two. Number three is, the path shown by Buddha, I'm not too sure whether it's the one. I'm not too sure, doubtful. So these three things can stop you from following this path, gati, right? Okay. Right? Okay, now, tell me, can you give me some idea as to who can you think of? Can you think of someone who says that, I don't want to go to the ultimate happiness? Do you think there's anyone?
Yes.
Huh? Who are they? No. If I ask you that there is a possibility where, right? Okay, let's say that if there's a snake next to you, and who wants to be free from the fear of the snake, right? If I ask you to imagine the snake, right? Who wants to be free from the snake? Okay, who cares, right? As though like you are very courageous. But the snake is actually there. If not 100%, 99.9% of the people, I don't even ask whether you're afraid of the snake. Everybody will jump, right? So whereas if I ask you to imagine, then you think, oh, what? As though like you are very courageous, right? Which means that we can't really imagine, you can't really envision what it is like to be in samsara. What is, for example, the pains that we go through. At the moment, we're all fine, right? Then despite the sickness and aging, which are not so immediate. And the sickness, the severe sickness, they're quite immediate. And the death is the immediate pain is there, right? The fear. And then the pain of losing near and dear ones, which is so acute. So if you're confronted with one or two of such things, the tragedies, is good enough to see that I want to get out of samsara, right? Okay, because that we have actually experienced all these so many times, but we've forgotten them. And only when that hits you right here, then we feel that samsara is terrible. And then again time heals you. Again we forget, right? So the point is that, and then if we really, by the way, what is meant by I don't want to go to the ultimate happiness? Huh? What is the actual way of saying that I don't want to go? Huh? Anyone? I don't want to go to anyone? Yes, ignorance, 100%. In what way ignorance, anyone? Huh? The one is? Okay, not aware of is fine. So, that's true, not aware of is fine. By not being aware or ignorant, there are so many layers. You're getting it? So simply by the unaware, then when you create awareness, they will learn and then they will become keen to go to follow this. So what else? Okay, for that matter, we need to know what is samsara. What is real samsara? You're getting it? And we hold on to it like very strongly. Then this is, And then somebody says, no, really say, really, no. You keep holding it more and more strongly. This is who you are saying that I don't want to go away from samsara. I don't want to go, go to the ultimate happiness. How do we hold so strongly to samsara? How? Anyone? Yes?
Ignorance, particularly with attachment, like they feel that the samsara is very nice.
Okay, one is that samsara is very nice. That samsara is very nice. So therefore, I want to live with it. Okay. Good. Yes, Tejala.
By grasping of the true existence of all phenomena.
Okay, by grasping at the true existence, not necessarily all phenomena, by grasping at the true existence of objects. Alright? By grasping at the true existence of objects. Very good. Yes, Linda?
And being oblivious to other people's suffering, like self-consumed or self-cherishing.
Okay, this is also a good idea. Say, being oblivious to others' suffering due to self-cherishing. Good. And yes?
That verse, by ceasing karma and afflictions, Nirvana is achieved. So
Yes.
that verse, not understanding what is misery and what is ultimate happiness. So what are the such things?
Okay, so this approach is very good. Keep this in mind. This approach is very good. Now that this is a more specialized class, this approach is very good. Always trying to, say you have some degree of conviction, and the source of this conviction is there's this text which reflects, which actually says what I'm thinking. Right? Not that, it is because the text says this. Don't go like this. The text says this, and I think it that way, and the text says this. These two go compatibly. Right? So this is a wonderful way of doing it. So because this is a more specialized class, so that will be very helpful. So where this thought, say, if I have a thought coming, and you may like it or you are not too sure, right? Then I may say, this is how I think, and this actually said in the text also. It's not that because the text says it is correct. This is not the idea. Idea is that this is how the thoughts come to my mind, and this actually resonates with what is said in the text. So, then what we study in the text, they become so vibrant, one, and then your thoughts will also become more systematic. Very good. Okay, there are several understandings given here. So one is more with how one is trapped in samsara. What does it mean by to be trapped in samsara? One. Another one is what does it mean by trapped in being unenlightened? Being unenlightened. Right? So trapped in samsara is a part of being trapped as in unenlightened state. In other words, what made you not enlightened? Fully enlightened. So trapped in samsara is what what Tizu said, that the samsara as opposed to nirvana is the manifestation of our being under control of the afflictions and contaminated karmas. So when we keep on nurturing, engendering afflictions, and then encouraging the contaminated karmas, we are in a way saying that I want to go away from samsara in one way. Now, what makes you keep accumulating negative karma, keep giving rise to the afflictions is because of the ignorance, seeing things as objective real. Now the final version of being trapped in samsara is as long as we see things as objectively real. As long as we see things as objectively real, and you don't want to let go of this, you don't want to let go of this belief that things are objectively real, you are saying that I don't want to go out of samsara. Right? So therefore, philosophically, if you try to prove that there is objective existence, philosophically. If somebody is exerting effort to say that, no, what Acharya Chandrakirti is saying is wrong, what the Buddha is saying is wrong, what Aranyakarta is saying is wrong. Things do exist objectively. The more you try to prove it, which means that I don't want to go to the place of seeing the emptiness of objective existence. I want to keep seeing things objectively real. Seeing things objectively real, that is samsara. Right? Seeing things as objectively real, that is samsara. Okay, one simple example that I'll give you is that, say there's open space. Open space, say you're thrown into a vast space. In the spaceship, through the spaceship, then you're thrown into the space. So what you see is a vast space, and that too not in the shade side, in the bright side. And you put on say the goggles, right? A very dirty goggle. And you look through the space, through this dirty goggle. What will you see? You will see a dirty, what? The space. You will see a dirty space, they're very dirty. So this dirtiness is not there, it's all coming from your goggle. But you project the dirtiness, the subjective dirtiness on the object. This is what we're projecting. So as long as you don't wipe the goggle, you will continue, no matter how, you cannot put effort to clean the space. No matter how you try to make the space clean, right? As long as you don't remove the dirt or the murkiness from the glasses, the space will never become clean. So the purity of the space, that is seeing and experiencing the purity of the space, is experiencing nirvana and enlightenment, right? And then continue believing that the space is dirty, space is dirty, space is dirty. It is dirty, right? And somebody says, no, it is not dirty, it is wrong with your perception. No, it is dirty there, 100% it is dirty. You keep saying that it's dirty there, right? You are saying that I don't want to see the purity of this space, right? So there are philosophical traditions, unfortunately, there are philosophical traditions which very strongly bind you into, say, objective existence, believing in objective existence. So therefore it's samsara. This is so eminent. It's so very unfortunate. And some people, scholars, even the scholars, some good scholars, they simply don't want to listen to what the Buddha has to say. They simply don't want to say. For example, in the conferences, I attend many conferences, and some of known as the experts, scholars from the other traditions. Oh, in Buddhism, what is that? You say it. I'm not aware of that. I don't know what is said in Buddhism, right? So the moment you say any reasoning, whatever so powerful reasoning, still there is at least interest to listen to these things, which means that I'm least interested to see the spaces clean. Right? Very unfortunate. So this is one obstacle is I don't want to go. Nobody can then, this is the most dangerous obstacle to achieve enlightenment. Right? When you say, I don't want to go, who can force you? Particularly in 21st century. If you force, then he'll sue you. Right? I said, I don't want to go to Nirvana, and he's forcing me to go to Nirvana. He's forcing me to achieve enlightenment, they will sue you, right? Okay, so this is very unfortunate, one. Then number two is following the wrong path. Yes, I want to go to Nirvana, but how Gade is said, this is wrong. We have to go Agade. This is the second one, following the wrong path. Number three is doubt. Okay, Gade, I'm not sure, very likely it's not the correct path. There may not be a path to enlightenment, right? The doubt. These are the three, say the word, obstacles that can stop you from achieving total freedom. Okay. And when you go out and attend conferences, you'll be fascinated to see that there are so many people in the name of the scholar, the scholars, who say that I don't want to go to nirvana, I don't want to go to ultimate happiness. There are so many of them. Okay, so the point is that finally it doesn't matter. Again, keep this in mind. It is not that I'm holding this tradition, I'm holding that tradition, and so forth. This is not idea. Idea is that no matter what tradition follow, you should experience the maximum happiness. You should free yourself from all stains or miseries. This is the idea. And whatever tradition helps you take there, go for it. Right? Don't think that, you don't have to feel the sympathetic towards, the Buddha, Mahavir, this teacher, that teacher. No, don't feel sympathetic towards them. Right? For them, they don't care whether you're sympathetic or not sympathetic. What they want is they want you to have the maximum happiness. And now people fight over the traditions. My tradition, their tradition, right? And they're promoting your tradition. And somehow then putting others into dangers, putting others into problems, pains, just because the other person does not agree with your tradition. This is just so pathetic. This is a disaster, right? Okay, now the point is, if this is the case, then what is required? Okay, in this life, we take up none of the master's course. And then the next life, where is none of the master's course? This is the question. Okay, so what is important is that next life, that what are you doing in order to continue with this? What we need to have is, we need to have open mind. Our mind, we must cultivate a sense of open-mindedness. This is so precious. Open-mindedness with intelligence. Open-mindedness without intelligence, it could be very dangerous. Somebody says that, right? From the west, the sun rises from the west. Right? I see, we are very open-minded, and you say, yes. And then the next day, they say, no, it rises from the north. I see, I thought it was from the west, and now I'm learning it's from the, again you go, right? So that for open-mindedness plus intelligence, these two are required. You're getting it? This is so important. So what we're learning here, Acharya Chandrakirti said, we are very, very, very lucky to have met with this brilliant author's teachings. The Madhyamaka Gatha. So this will tell us how to maintain open mind and how to build your intelligence. Even the intelligence, don't think that, oh, I'm not so intelligent, so I'm the unfortunate one, right? No, even the intelligence is also dependent originated. Everything, every phenomena is dependent originated. Lack of intelligence also dependent originated. Intelligence also dependent originated. What do you mean by dependent originated? Meaning that if you are not as intelligent now, even this not being intelligent is also by dependence of various factors. Right? Now, look for these factors which, on the basis of which you become not as intelligent now. Remove those bad factors. Then you become, dependent on these bad factors, you are counted as unintelligible person. So that phenomenon disappears. So when you're unintelligent, being unintelligent, that is reduced, what is the outcome? Your intelligence builds up. So this is how we can, even the intelligence is something which we can learn. So what we are learning now, this text, this is a beautiful, is amazingly sharp, amazingly, say, the useful text to sharpen our intelligence. Okay, one. The next is that, okay, now let's see that, okay, so because of the kindness of this great text, we're able to follow this path, Gade, Paragate, Parasamgade, Bodhiswaha. Follow meaning, first we're able to create this blueprint. Having created this blueprint, so let's say, okay, with this blueprint, we say that, okay, finally my job is to achieve total enlightenment, full awakening of the potential within me. Full awakening. Now for this full awakening to achieve, first the desire that I must achieve that desire must come into being. What is that desire? The desire that finally I should achieve this final enlightenment. What is this desire known as? Bodhicitta. Bodhi means full awakening, right? Okay, always try to understand the meanings of even the technical terms. Bodhicitta seems to be a very technical term. It's very simple. Bodhi means enlightenment. Chit is the mind, aspiring mind. The mind in which aspires to achieve enlightenment. So this goal I must achieve. That desire must be there. Without this desire to achieve this enlightenment, then you will not, it's impossible. Because this path is a challenging path. Because this is a challenging path, people always go for the easier path. And the easier path never takes you there to the Buddhahood. So therefore the desire to achieve that must be very intense. That is known as the bodhicitta one. So the moment you have this bodhicitta desire, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, also known as Changjupsen, bodhicitta. When this becomes very spontaneous, this is key. When it becomes spontaneous, that becomes a full-fledged bodhicitta. Full-fledged bodhicitta. And the moment it arises in you, whether you are Indian, Tibetan, non-Indians, non-Tibetan, or whether you are the boy, girl, educated, uneducated, young, old, it doesn't matter. The moment this mind is generated within you, you become a bodhisattva. That very moment you become a bodhisattva. So, which we all revere as someone who is holy. You become bodhisattva. Okay. Now, after becoming bodhisattva, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings? How can you become a Buddha then? This is the next question. How can you become Buddha? By squeezing a handful of sand. Do you expect oil to come out of that? No oil come out of that. So, when squeezing a handful of sunflower seeds, oil will come out? Yes. Okay. Likewise, in order for the Buddha to come out, there must be a seed of the Buddhahood within us. Do we have the seed of Buddhahood? Yes. What is that known as? The Tathagata Garbha or the Buddha nature. We have this Buddha nature. We have this seed. If this seed or the fine purity, say the true nature of our mind is the state of the Buddhahood. The true nature of mind is Buddhahood. So that true nature, we call it the Buddha nature or the Tathagata Garbha. If the true nature is there, why is it not visible now? Why? Because it is obscured, it is covered by the stains, metal stains. You getting it? Okay, if you want this true nature to come out, for example, say a water directly taken from the Yamuna river, from the Delhi, directly take the water from there. Is it drinkable? It's not drinkable. But the true nature of the water, is this dirty or not? The true nature of water is very clean. How do we know that the true nature of this water is clean? How do we know this? Remove the dirts. Remove the dirts through any process. Through reverse osmosis process or through chemical element. So you treat this water, remove the dirts, and the purity comes out. Right? That purity comes out. So this purity existed where? Outside the water, or it was from within? It was from within, which means that the true nature of the water is so clean. External dirts, when added, then the true nature becomes not visible. Likewise, our mind, the true nature of mind is so pure. So pure, the true nature of mind is actually enlightenment, is actually Buddhahood. This is what we are seeking. May I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. So that's actually there. So how is it not visible at the moment? Because that is like the true nature of water being obscured by the pollutants, water pollutants. Likewise, the true nature of mind, which is so pure, full of wisdom, full of compassion, full of power. So that is obscured by the metal stains. Okay, next, how to get rid of metal stains? We have to know the metal stains, nature of metal stains first. And knowing that the nature of metal stains is either finally, either in the form of ignorance or the subtle stains of the ignorance. Right? Ignorance. And ignorance, when I say final, I do not say that the defilements are the nature of the ignorance. This is not what I'm saying. These defilements boil down to the ignorance. The defilements include much grosser than what the ignorance is. For example, these manifest 10 non-virtuous actions. 10 non-virtuous actions, all the afflictive emotions such as attachment, anger, jealousy, competitiveness of fear, anxiety, depression, all these things, they are the outcome of this. So they are all stacked, they are the offshoots of this ignorance. So when you cut the ignorance, all others automatically join. And of course, while we think of cutting the ignorance, we also need to work on removing the contaminant karmas, purifying the contaminant karma, purification practice are to be done, and also for example, for the anger, we practice compassion. For attachment, we practice the impurities and so forth. They are their respective practices. But finally, to get rid of these problems altogether, we have to cut the root, right? If you melt the iceberg, then all the buildings built on the iceberg, they will automatically crumble. Likewise, if we cut the ignorance, all what comes out of that in the form of the offshoots of the ignorance will all crumble, they'll all dry. Okay, so now we see that to remove these metal stains, we come to realize that the metal stains somehow they're rooted to the ignorance and the stains of the ignorance, subtle stains of the ignorance. Okay, how to remove the ignorance? How to remove the ignorance? By introducing the wisdom, counterforce. Only by introducing the counterforce wisdom. Okay. Once you introduce the wisdom, so for this wisdom there are three kinds. What are they? Wisdom drawn through learning, wisdom drawn through reflection, wisdom drawn through meditation. So wisdom drawn through learning will help us to gather the material. So what we really need is what? What we really need is a perfect antidote which is equally powerful, equally competent as that of the mental defilements. And how active, how competent are the mental defilements?
Very professional.
Very professional, right? Very active, so intense, so powerful, high quality. This is the mental afflictions. Now the counterforce, the wisdom, should be equally intense and powerful. Equally intense and powerful. What is the most powerful state of the wisdom? What is the most powerful state of the wisdom of emptiness? The non-dual wisdom of emptiness. Okay, so finally our goal is to let this Buddha nature come out. You said that may I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. So this on the basis of the blueprint. Now we started by cultivating this thought. May I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. That is bodhicitta. To materialize the aspiration of this intention, what should we be doing? We should see first of all whether I have the capacity to become Buddha. What is your answer? Yes. What is that capacity? Buddha nature. So if the Buddha nature is there, then how can you make it awaken? How can you unravel this, disclose this fully? By removing the mental dirts. Okay. How will you remove the mental dirts? For that we have to first study the nature of the mental dirts. Studying the nature of mental dirts, what have we discovered? The mental dirts, somehow they are connected to ignorance or the subtle states of the ignorance. Okay, now things have become clearer. How to get rid of the ignorance? Introduce the counterforce. What is counterforce? Wisdom. Now we are getting the remedy, right? What kind of wisdom? Wisdom, there are so many kinds. So many kinds, saying some of the wisdom which require, okay, now there's a class, Tibetan class is happening, resuming on today's what? 25th. Oh no, there's marathon there. So we have to, now I need to think of where to park the car, up to what point I can go, right? So wisdom is still not yet arisen. And the affliction is already arisen. Right? Meanwhile, why this marathon? Right? So affliction is already arisen. Meant to create the wisdom, afflictions are more successful. Right? Afflictions have taken over and the wisdom is still coming. It's still on the way. Right? Okay, then come to Tibet house. Oh, now the marathon is there. So maybe Gisela may come maybe after 20 minutes. 20 minutes, I give you a chat. Right? Okay, so this is how slow the wisdom is. Which means that, and still, finally coming here, out of 7 billion human beings, even those people who are actually putting effort, at least they're putting effort to come. Even that is so lucky, right? But that alone does not have the capacity to get rid of our mental defilements. Okay, now what kind of wisdom do we need? A non-dual wisdom of emptiness. Non-dual wisdom of emptiness is required. Okay, non-dual wisdom. But how can you get the non-dual wisdom? Only possibility is we have to follow the steps. So, ye dharma hetu prabhava. All phenomena arise in the causes. For the non-dual wisdom of emptiness, what should be the precursor? What should be the causal factor, indispensable causal factor to give rise to the non-dual wisdom of emptiness? What is that? Conceptual experience of the emptiness. Intense and spontaneous conceptual experience of emptiness should precede the non-dual wisdom of emptiness. Okay, now do we have that? Intense, the spontaneous experience of the conceptual experience of emptiness, do we have it? No. If you don't have it, never mind. We can create this. We can again cultivate this. How can we cultivate this? But depending on it, again, the indispensable causal factor. What is the indispensable causal factor for that? We require first of all the conviction that yes, conviction is wisdom, that yes, things are actually empty of objective existence. This conviction must come. Without the conviction, you cannot have the spontaneous experience, be it conceptual or non-conceptual. We must have the conviction that things are actually empty of objective existence. This conviction must be gained. How can you gain this conviction? Through the wisdom derived through reflection. Right? Through wisdom derived through reflection, you will gain the conviction. This can say, for the time being, when you say things are empty of objective existence, you will say yes. And particularly if you attend conferences and so forth, and that there are other people saying that things exist objectively, how can you say that things don't exist objectively? Then you will say, yes, things don't exist objectively. Right? Okay, you're fine. But if you say that, how can you convince me? Then you may say that, okay, so the class is still going. Narendra Master's course is still going. I'm yet to finish it, right? Okay, which means that you have not got the conviction. So what makes you to have the conviction is through reflecting more on this. That reflection known as wisdom derived through reflection. Now, in order to gain this conviction, what should you be doing? In order to subject this wisdom to the analysis, the reflection, you need the basic information of this wisdom, So that information on this wisdom must be so rich. You must be so rich in this information. So this information, how can you get this information? Through the wisdom derived through learning, studying. So therefore, even intellectual study of the wisdom of emptiness, even that is so precious, so precious. Oftentimes, people in the first place, they themselves don't do anything about wisdom of emptiness. And some people, they at least pay some attention pay some attention to study this, what emptiness is, and the person may be a little angry, short-tempered, like that. What's the point? Look, studying emptiness and being very angry, short-tempered, right? Which means that this person who's saying this does not have any experience of emptiness. Only if you go through this journey, then you will see how difficult it is, how fortunate somebody is, even to say that I'm studying wisdom of emptiness, even to say that I'm studying wisdom of emptiness, even that is so precious. Okay, so we have to study this. Now, to study this, we see that this text is so precious, and particularly Buddha Shakyamuni, the Buddha Shakyamuni, his major legacy on this earth for us is the wisdom of emptiness. Wisdom of emptiness, right? And then the other legacy is bodhicitta. These are the two things, the greatest of the legacies of the Buddha Shakyamuni. Okay, now with this, Nagarjuna, who was prophesied by the Buddha Shakyamuni himself, that I think it was Ananda who raised the question to Buddha Shakyamuni, say after the Buddha Shakyamuni assuming Mahaparinirvana, then this brilliant teaching of the Mahayana, the system, so it may disappear. And then who will hold this teaching to let it continue? Then the Buddha made a prophecy of Nagarjuna. And then after about 400 years, so the date is not too fixed, then Nagarjuna appeared, and then he made a major contribution to explain what this wisdom is. So kind for us, so kind. Okay. And then Acharya Chandrakriti in 7th century AD, Acharya Chandrakriti appeared, and of course Nagarjuna's text, Mula Madhyamika Karika. So he left his legacy, and with the other texts as well, but this is the master, the classic, fundamental wisdom of the middle way. And then the Indian masters, there came many Indian masters who wrote commentaries on this. Some interpreted Nagarjuna's thought in line with Chittamatra philosophy. Some interpreted this in line with Svatandra Madhyamika and so forth, right? And then Acharya Chandrakriti finally in the 7th century, reading through all the commentaries, he was not happy with these commentaries, and then he wrote the Prasanapada, the clear words, to explain that the other commentators, why I am writing this commentary is not for the sake of a commentary, it's for the sake of eliminating the misconceptions created by the earlier commentators, right? Okay, so this by no means should be indication that we should follow Acharya Chandrakriti blindly. There's not a connotation. We study Acharya Chandrakriti. While studying Acharya Chandrakriti, he very clearly explained the views of the others who commented Nagarjuna's works in the form of Chittamata's philosophy, in the form of Svatandra Madhyamika's philosophy, right? He elucidated these points, Dev's 10 points very clearly, right? So in a way, while studying Madhyamika Avatar, we are studying the other traditions, all the traditions equally, right? And then our job is, after studying all these things, then our job is to not simply be biased, to have biases towards Acharya Chandrakriti, but they say what's said by the lower schools, how Acharya Chandrakriti rejected this, whether or not this rejection makes sense. So this is what our job is. Okay, so we will have tea break.